Hey guys, so in this video I'm going to compare Genshin's Archon War with the Archon War in Gnosticism. And a quick note is, in case I reference something that you don't understand how I made this correlation, like if I say the Demiurge or Sophia or something else and you have no idea what I'm talking about, perhaps you should go look at my other videos because it will likely explain the part you're lacking. So after the parts I've already explained in the earlier videos, the Demiurge pretty much ruled over the earthly sphere. You know, many archons, they didn't really know better, so therefore they didn't really question anything that he proposed. However, when a new being came forth from the heavens, older, wiser, made of pure light, speaking of things that would one day become forbidden knowledge, there was then doubt. There was a spark. Some accepted the truth and chose the light, however many disobeyed and rebelled. And this wasn't really like loyalty to the Demiurge or anything like that. It was just like they really couldn't comprehend anything beyond the Demiurge existing, even though there is something right before them. Which obviously was Sophia, like I explained in the earlier parts. She's trying to fix her mistake. But many archons not only couldn't believe, but some of them just straight up didn't care. They were too governed by their flaws and their desire. The desire to command over one another for a start. There's quite a few versions of Gnosticism, and therefore you're gonna find contradictions from one form to the next. However, there are quite a few of them that are just pushing an agenda and they're very propagandized, let's say. I'm just gonna try to explain the version that I think Genshin's going with, or the pieces that Genshin took from every version to make Genshin. So why did I just say all that? I said all that because what happens here, what happened in the story is the ones that have the spark are now able to go to the realm of light in their end, or have the potential to make it to the realm of light in their end, even though they had been created with some darkness originally. Like I said in many videos, they aren't evil, they're just imperfect, just like humans are. However, the archons who denied the light and the truth Sophia spoke, I believe what happened to them was the light in them itself left them and went on to the realm of light without them, therefore enabling them from ever being able to go to the realm of light in the future. So if the whole world tree and the whole recycling of souls and data and all that stuff ceased to exist, there is no way for them to get reborn. They will cease to exist too, theoretically. So this is implied because of one thing that happened to Sophia. So she was supposed to have come down when the land was in chaos and everyone was pretty much a disbeliever. They didn't believe in the realm of light because they didn't know in the realm of light. So they didn't know who created them or who was at the top of the chain or anything. So this world was very dark. It did not have faith in light and stuff like that. And this itself made made her power start to wane. Even to the point where it says that this being, which is translated to Sophia, ends up losing her light in this moment, and then therefore no longer is able to create beings of light or pretty much anything of value. Only small, feeble creatures with the same sickness she currently has. So a contradiction arises here because there's multiple versions of Gnosticism being used by Genshin. You see, I explained earlier that the version I thought that they were using about Sophia was she made an accident, which was the Demiurge, and the Demiurge went on to make the Archons and so on and try to rule over the place and stuff. Not Sophia, she didn't do that stuff. However, this part is saying when her powers get weakened and she can only create little weak things, which we would probably call helitrolls and stuff like that now, she eventually starts to condemn these creatures and sees them as just phantoms, shadows, illusions, deprived of lights and reason, even seeing them as deficient and wanting them completely destroyed. However, this is more of a propaganda-filled version. As well as in the version of Gnosticism that Genshin seems to be aligning with so far, she never created these little helitroll creatures. That was the Demiurge. So what I think happened is they took this part specifically. I think it's gonna end up being that the Demiurge is the one who lost his light in this moment and is now only able to create these small little feeble shadow creatures, which is why he needs the gnosis from the archons, because he doesn't have as much power as they do, as the the ones that chose the light do. However, in the trailer, you see it looks like Sophia's aftermath is what destroyed Khaenri'ah. So this is matching up this version of Gnosticism. However, since this is just a trailer, perhaps they never implemented it into the game because they want to retract it. Like, this is not the version they want to go with, and they just mix stuff up. If I was writing for them, this is what I would do. I would correct this part and take it out of the canon. Because it would make more sense if the Demiurge is the one who does this. He's the one who lost his power. He can only create little hilichurls and stuff like that. They need the gnosticism from the other archons, as well as all of his believers also won't have light, so they don't have the ability to gain a vision at all. However, assuming that the sustainer of heavenly principles is who destroyed Khaenri'ah, then perhaps she did lose her lights, but didn't destroy them because they were feeble creatures or whatever, but destroyed them because she was just upset that they weren't choosing the light or something. Or perhaps it's because she lost her memory, which I'm going to lightly touch on in a bit. But you have to remember, she has to be Sophia, because the second who came, as in the first descender, which is Sophia in Gnosticism, and the sustainer of heavenly principles in Genshin, she is supposed to be the one who triggers the Archon War, and is the reason that the savior is sent down in Gnosticism in the first place, as well as is also doubling as the Pearl, which is also in a Gnostic story, which is also what the game is telling us in the Battle Pass is our main point, which means Sophia is the Pearl, like I said in a previous video. Anyway, let's get back on track now that you got all that context. So a war soon emerged between these two sides, the sides that chose the light and the side that refused the light. The Archon War was wild. Lust, envy, malice, vengeance, fury raged on. So the light side, which is called Remembrance, they fought in unity. They were mixing their powers together in great numbers, as well as they created and fought with all kinds of things of matter. We don't know too much about the Archon War in Genshin, but this sounds like Genshin. But in truth, this is how it's written in Gnosticism. Anyway, as the war rages on, something happens where they all start to pretty much forget, and all they can see is the battle. But like I said before, the ones of shadow were forsaken, and in this moment, aid from above rained down. The chosen one was armed with gifts from the aeons and filled with all things by the monad, what was, what is, and what will be. Taking a second to explain this really quick, because I forgot to explain in my last video, how is the letter in the Battle Pass story, how is that the main character, right? It doesn't really make sense. How are they a bird in the story and a person and a letter? It's not really computing, right? So basically, since the main character is the savior, they're the Messiah, they're an aeon, right? An angel. An angel is interpreted as a bird. In the Gnostic fairy tale, they're also a bird and a letter. An angel and a letter. They're a messenger. Angels are messengers. It all basically circles around to itself. They're all the same thing in this context. And the message itself is the things that the bird, the letter, the character is filled with by the monad. Remembering all of the past, knowing what is the present and seeing the future. All of this knowledge is what Sophia needs to see to awaken, as well as her sibling. Anyway, back to the war. When the savior came down, they were able to detach the light from beings that weren't worthy of it, as well as dispel darkness, as well as we were supposed to show ourselves to those that want to gain vision by shining forth our divine light. There isn't much detail explained about the war beyond this point, but ultimately the Demiurge and the Dark Archons, the Abyss Kings, are sealed in the Abyss, as well as Sophia regains her memory and therefore regains her light after obtaining that data she obtained from us. However, since in Genshin they made her two things at once, they made her both Sophia and both the Pearl, and therefore, like I said in my other video, she ended up getting recycled somehow, and then we have to give her memory back another way, which is going through all of the Sephiroths. We have to enlighten her and get her gnosis back in order to get her back in full. Perhaps when Genshin gives us more details about the war, then I would be able to come back and give you guys more information that's relevant. But for now, I think that pretty much sums it up. However, if you guys have any questions about anything in Genshin that you think I can explain with Gnosticism or another mythology, ask away and I'll try to give you the answers. There is one thing, however, that's been puzzling me that I don't think I can answer, at least not yet. And it's, who the heck is Alice? Like, I'm pretty sure she's the second descender, and therefore she's an Aeon. But in Gnosticism, there should be nobody that came down after Sophia and before us. So who the heck is this? And what's her purpose in the world? There's not only multiple hints in the trailers and stuff like that she's a descender, but it's also like, who in the world of Teyvat is on that level besides her that could possibly be another descender? And I know some may say that some of the Fatui maybe, but they don't have light, because if they had light they would have the ability to have visions or be like an archon, which they don't seem to be. Anyway, that's about it for now guys. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.